Good morning, guys. First little car vlog that I've done in quite a while. Had a lot of stuff going on, personal life, business-wise. Haven't had the opportunity to really sit down and do this kind of stuff, but I'm back, baby. If you guys have been anywhere near Southern California, or anywhere hot for that matter, the past few weeks, you understand the purpose of this episode today. The purpose of this episode today is to enlighten you guys on how to properly hydrate in one of my favorite ways to hydrate that doesn't involve a sports drink. When it gets really hot outside, it's important to make sure that our body not only has enough food to make it through a tough workout, a tough day, but to have enough water and liquids and electrolytes in your body to keep your energy up. Because for those of you who have ever felt dehydration or even just extreme thirst from being hot, just from being in the weather or from working out in the weather, know exactly how it feels when you are not hydrated enough. You're not drinking enough water, you're not getting enough electrolytes in your body. You feel woozy, you feel like crap, your workout suffers, and if your workout suffers, you're not getting everything out of what you want to do. And ultimately, the end goal of working out and training is to feel better and to perform better. So if you're not doing those two things, then what's the point? So people usually say when it's hot, just drink more water, drink more water, drink more water. Very common advice. It's not bad advice, but it's not the best advice for what we are looking for. We're looking to stay hydrated, not to just drink water. If you just drink water straight up, it's just gonna flow right through you. I use the analogy kind of like a sponge. Your body's like a sponge. It will absorb a certain amount of water on its own, but what happens to a sponge as soon as you hold it underneath the faucet for too long? The water's just going to continue to run right through it because the sponge doesn't have any more surface area or any more room to hold the water in. So if we just drink more and more water, we're just going to end up sweating it out and peeing it out as if we were just drinking it in normal weather. So what do we need to do? The answer back in the day was Gatorade. You guys have seen that old Gatorade commercial where it's the old doctors for Gatorade making the original ones for the Florida Gators for their football team, right? That original formula is not used anymore. Today they use the sugared up, double the sugar version in their bottles. Not saying it's bad for everybody. Something that I like to do with my Gatorade or Powerade is that I cut the recipe in half and I make 2 bottles out of it. I fill the rest with water, and I think it tastes a little bit better. It's not as sweet. But I don't like drinking sports drinks or anything for that matter that's super sugary or heavy during a workout. I get bloated, I get kind of crampy, I don't feel good. So I've always just said you know what? Let's just drink water, I'll feel better. But then I quickly realized that when it gets hot and I just drink water, that's not the way to go. It doesn't work. I don't feel any more hydrated or any better. So I went looking. Those of you who know me, I'm a powerlifter by trade. A powerlifter by I love powerlifting and I love all things powerlifting. And if you guys are into powerlifting at all, you will have heard of a man named Stan Efferding. I call him the White Rhino, the world's strongest bodybuilder. This guy has been in the game for so long that I could never even start to compare to the things and accolades that he has done and achieved. So I looked at people like this to give me some insight. The biggest game changer for him when he needs to stay hydrated, he lives in Las Vegas. The weather is how it's felt out here, hundreds the last week or so in Southern California. It's out there on a regular basis in the summertime. He uses salt in his water to keep hydrated. I know what you're thinking, salt? Isn't that going to hurt my heart? Don't we already have enough salt in our diet? I was skeptical too, until I tried it. put a little salt. Important what kind of salt though. I don't put the iodized table salt that we have. I put sea salt into my water. I don't know the science behind it. It's supposed to be better for you. I tried it. I don't have issues, so I keep going with it. So I suggest sea salt. But the difference I felt was that when I was drinking my water, I wasn't nearly pissing as often, and I felt better in my workouts. So I did a little bit more digging on as to why is that? Why was I feeling this way when I was having salt in my water when compared to just the regular water? I was baffled because I'm thinking your whole life you're taught to not drink salt water because it makes you thirsty again. Biggest difference between seawater, salt water, and the water that I'm drinking, putting a little bit of salts in, is that salinity levels in salt water are astronomically higher than what I would normally put in for the water that I put in, the water that I have my salt in. For me, I might put a pinch or two of salt into my water bottle during my workout to help with the hydration deal. Not to the point where I taste it, the water just feels heavier. People have tried it in my gym, they feel the same way. They think it tastes the same way. It doesn't taste salty, it feels heavy. And after some of the research that I did about it, salt acts as kind of not as a binding agent, but that's the best way I can describe it. It causes water to be saved in our body, in our cells. It pulls water into our body. It doesn't let us sweat out as much, right? So isn't that what we want? We want to stay hydrated, and staying hydrated means keeping a certain amount of water in our body. If you sweat, you're working hard in this weather. My gym doesn't have air conditioning, so I'm sweating my freaking balls off the entire time I'm working out. Yes, you're gonna sweat a lot. That's just regardless. That's just gonna happen. But you're able to hold on to more water in the manner that I'm talking to because the salt is holding on to it. So you feel better, and you're sweating the same, and you're drinking less water. I find that I drink less water when I'm working out because I feel like I hold on to more. It's not just getting pushed through my body like, oh, let's just get rid of this stuff. We don't have room for this stuff. The biggest concern I get from a lot of people, especially women, is that they're afraid to get bloated with this. My answer to that is, if you're in this for performance, who cares? Anybody who's ever done any type of powerlifting, sport activity, knows that your weight can fluctuate depending how big of a person you are. I've seen 15 pounds in one day, and that's all water weight. If you feel a little bloated from holding a little bit extra water, you can get rid of that extra water in less than a day. So for those of you who are afraid to get bloated, don't worry about it. You're gonna be just fine. All right, guys? Thanks for listening to my little bit today. Stay hydrated. It's hot out there this summer. Go get your summer bodies, and don't worry about feeling bloated. It goes away in a day. You can get rid of it and get photo shoot ready. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.